Before you jump into this episode, I've got one question for you. How is your summer looking? If you're like most horse business owners, you're headed into or already in the mix of what's typically your busiest season. And that often means that posting on social media for your business is the first thing to go. But what if I told you that you can be fully present with your clients, customers, horses, and family this summer, having already planned out your entire summer of social media content ahead of time? It's not only possible, I'm here to help you do it. You're invited to join me live on Thursday, June 13th for a social media planning workshop. I'll guide you and give you the tools you need to plan 90 days of social media content in 90 minutes. I promise this is not an exaggeration. If you show up ready to do the work, you will walk away from this workshop ready to consistently show up on social media this summer so you can keep on making those all-important connections with your potential clients and customers online. Head to stormlily.com/summer to get registered for the workshop today. I can't wait to see you there. Hello there. I am so glad you're here today. Welcome to the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast with Denise Alvarez. As you've likely guessed by now, that is me. My name is Denise, and I'm so glad you're joining me here. Now, before I dive into the meat of today's episode, I will quickly do an introduction just in case we are new friends, and then we will jump on in. Now, as I said, my name is Denise Alvarez, and through my business, Storm Lily Marketing, I get to help dream-chasing horse business owners like yourself to see clearly through the marketing overwhelm so you can create a cohesive plan for your social media, your website, and your email marketing that will turn your online audience into your customers. I do that through this podcast, yes, and then also through Take the Reins, my one-on-one coaching program, as well as my website design and website copywriting services. And I do all of the things here so that you can be out in the barn or the arena doing what it is that you love to do in the horse world. And so especially here on this podcast, you can expect a mix of step-by-step strategies, essential how-tos, and entrepreneurial mindset shifts that will help you not only see what's possible for your business, but I'm also here to guide you through that process so you can make it happen. And so today specifically, we are talking about a really big mindset shift that I would love to help you make. We're going to dive into this idea of, is consistent really better than perfect? Now, of course, I love to give you the practical help here on this podcast, but I also know that as equestrian entrepreneurs, your mindset matters greatly. Now, in particular, this episode is inspired by you, of course, and it's also inspired by a quote that I recently came across and shared on social media. So I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to chat it out, okay? Here's the quote. Perfection is not the goal. Consistency is. Don't try to be perfect. Try to be better than you were yesterday. Consistency beats perfectionism. And that's from Dr. James. I'm going to try not to butcher the last name. It's a long one. Lantano. Again, I don't know him personally. Saw it on Instagram and I loved it. His specialty is health and wellness. So he was actually talking about consistently eating well and the difference that can make when he was sharing this. But overall, it applies to all things life and business. And that's why you're here, because of your horse business. So let's talk about, why is it that you are feeling stuck, and dive into this idea of perfectionism that really, I'm going to show you, touches so many areas of your business, even if you wouldn't say, Denise, I'm a perfectionist. Okay. Now, I'm saying honest. We're going to get honest about this because I know that if I asked many of you, why are you feeling stuck in your business? Why do you feel like social media is an area you want to post in, but you're not? You're feeling stuck regarding your website. You're feeling stuck regarding booking people online. You're feeling stuck regarding what the next step is for your business, what you need to do. The common answer I get from people is time. They're saying, Denise, I'm stuck because I just don't have enough time to do all the things that I want to do or all the things I feel like I'm supposed to do. And I get that. And time's a real thing. And I have said the same thing. And we have to figure out the right way to manage and steward our time. Absolutely. But here's what I've also seen. Usually when we say time, that's actually the secondary thing that's keeping you from taking action. There's typically something that's a little deeper that's underneath that. And that's what I want us to focus on today. So here's a practical example. Let's say you're on a coaching call with me to strategize your social media. And you might say, Denise, I don't have time in the day to post. I'm really struggling with that. And I get that. And we will talk about those things on the call. But I also know I will challenge you because we will make time for things that we believe are going to be helpful for us in our business. And so what's really keeping you stuck in your social media marketing may not be time. It may be a few other things. And so I'm going to list them out for you. I want you to internally, or if you're in your car, externally, if you'd like, raise your hand and say, oh, that's actually what it is for me. Okay, so it may be that you're feeling stuck because of comparison. You are comparing yourself to the other business owners that you see online. You're comparing yourself to how funny they are or what their barn looks like or how they show up. And so that's keeping you from posting on social. Or perhaps it is pressure, whether internal or external, to post every single day. That's overwhelming to you. It feels like too much. You don't think you can do it. And so you just don't. And so therefore you haven't actually posted on your social media account in weeks. Or, and I'm talking business, of course. Okay. I'm not talking about your personal account. While that can absolutely be beneficial for your business, we're talking about your business account. Okay. All right. So it may be comparison. It may be the pressure to post every day. For you, it also may be that you're feeling stuck because you have a fear of failure and it's real. You don't want to get on there and look absolutely ridiculous. You don't want to go live and have nobody commenting or nobody engaging. That feels like a failure to you. Or you don't want to put content out there inviting people to come and explore your barn or come for an introductory lesson and not have any callbacks. That feels like failure. So you just don't do it. Or perhaps for you, it's imposter syndrome. You're thinking, Denise, I'm okay in my area. I'm okay with my group of people. But if you're going to ask me to show my face on social media, if you're going to tell me I need to look like an expert, I don't feel like an expert. I know so many other people that know more than I do. And you have a lot of imposter syndrome that's keeping you from showing up. That may be what's keeping you stuck. But I want to tell you there's something interesting about each of those that I have noticed, that there's a common thread of perfectionism, feeling like you have to be perfect. So I'm going to walk back through those quickly, and I want you to see how perfectionism shows up. Because for some of you, you're saying, Denise, I actually don't struggle that much with perfectionism. People don't really call me that. But sometimes feeling like you need to be perfect is coming in the form of these other areas. So you're comparing yourself to others and you're not feeling enough. You're not feeling perfect enough. You feel the pressure to post every single day. And because you don't want to fail, then you're not going to do that. And therefore that pressure is making you feel like you have to be perfect. And speaking of failing, that fear of failure, it also is rooted in that feeling of perfectionism. I don't want to show up and it doesn't look exactly like I think it should look. That would be failure. That's not perfect. I'm not going to do it. Or maybe it is imposter syndrome and you're saying, I don't feel like an expert. I don't feel confident and enough. I don't want to show myself writing. I don't want to show myself training. Everybody's going to comment. People are going to have things to say. So I'm just not going to do it. Guess what? Perfectionism is keeping you from taking action in every single one of those. And let me also be very honest here about myself, because I promise you, I am not here to judge you. When I see these things show up for equestrian entrepreneurs over and over again, I can say, I'm with you. I've had those same feelings and experiences, and I've learned what we need to do to get past that. And I want to talk about some of those things here today. But when you're telling me, Denise, I haven't launched, I have an online workshop, I have an online class, I have a really good idea. I want to do a membership. I want to go to that expo and be a clinician, but I haven't put in my application. All of those different things really come down to your mindset and your ability to take action, even if it's not perfect action. Even if everything is not going to go perfectly, which we know it never does, then that's keeping you from taking action and is making you feel stuck in your horse business. And I want so much more for you than that. And my heart behind that is honestly because I told you, I've struggled with that. I've done so much work on myself these past few years, probably 5 to 10 years, on perfectionism and really exploring that. And before that, I would honestly have told you there is absolutely nothing wrong. And I still, even when I say it, then I'm like, oh, that gets into that right and wrong. Okay. But I would say wanting to do things perfectly well is perfectly all right. I would have told you, why would you not want everything to be done correctly? Who accepts less than what's excellent, right? And the people that have known me since my very early years actually probably saw this podcast title and were baffled that I'm even talking about this or saying it or talking about this idea of letting go of perfectionism. Because I'll be honest with you, I am a work in progress as well. And the reason I feel so passionate and excited to share these things with you is because I'm learning it and I'm seeing the difference it makes when we take action, even if it's not perfect action. Being okay with imperfect action, consistently showing up and choosing consistency over perfect. I've seen it for myself and I've seen it through my coaching clients and my website clients, and I've seen how they've benefited from taking action and doing it and the muscles they're building inside of themselves as they do it, the progress they're making as they do it. And I want that for you as well. And so the remedy that I'm encouraging you to lean into to combat those feelings of fear of failure and imposter syndrome and comparison and the things that really have their root in perfectionism, I promise I'm not telling you to throw excellence out the window, because I can tell you I will not. I still care about excellence. I want people to have an excellent experience when they work with me in my business, when they go to my website. But what I want to encourage you to do is actually lean into consistency. Going back to that quote that I shared with you earlier, right? He said, consistency beats perfectionism. And to me, I had to really sit and read that and say, do I believe that? Do I really believe that being consistent is better than doing something perfectly? And I'm going to give you the reasons that I have discovered that it is. First, let's define this, okay? Consistent does not mean perfect. What it does mean is showing up in the same way over time. So I actually did look up the definition of the word, and in every definition of consistent, you will see the phrase over time is there. Because there will be days or moments or hours or weeks even sometimes that you miss a beat. But consistent does not mean that you just throw up your hands and you give up. You get back to doing the work and you continue to do that over time. And that is why it matters so much and why it has the potential to change the trajectory of your business, including how you are going to market your horse business, because you're going to consistently show up over time. All right, so I want to give you 3 reasons that I have discovered consistency beats perfectionism, okay? Or being consistent beats being perfect. Although we know that's not possible. That's the goal many of us were trying to attain to, right? Okay, so reason number 1, progress. When you consistently take action, rather than waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect inspiration, the perfect weather, the perfect whatever it is, you will inherently make progress with that action and become better over time. And believe it or not, often you will become better than if you had just sat and waited for the right, aka perfect time. Now, I have a really cool illustration to show you this. It's actually from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. All right. So here's the illustration. On the first day of class, a professor divided his film beginning photography students into 2 groups. Everyone on the left side of the classroom, he said, you're in the quantity group. You're going to be graded solely on the amount of work that you produce. And on the final day of class, I'll tally the number of photos each of you have submitted, and that's how you're going to get your grade. It's all about quantity. Okay, everybody on the right side of the room, he said, you are going to be in the quality group. You are going to be graded only on the excellence of your work, and you only need to produce one photo during the semester. But to get an A, it had to be a nearly perfect image. Now, at the end of the term, he actually found that all of the best photos were produced by the quantity group. These students were busy taking photos during the semester, experimenting with composition and lighting, testing out various methods in the darkroom, learning from their mistakes. And in the process of creating hundreds of photos, they actually honed their skills. Meanwhile, the quality group sat around speculating about perfection. And in the end, they had little to show for their efforts other than unverified theories and one mediocre photo. Now, here's the point, friends. It is easy to get bogged down trying to find the optimal plan, the right blank, right? Fill in the blank, whatever it is, the perfect, whatever it is you're looking for. And you get so focused on figuring out the best approach that you never get around to taking action. And I love what James Clear says. Whenever you put in consistent work and learn from your mistakes, incredible progress is the result. So that's why I want you to pick consistency. And let's get very practical. Let's think about your email marketing. I want you to pick a day of the month and say, on this day, every day, I will consistently send an email to my list. Or maybe for you, it is a weekly email. You're saying, Denise, I feel like I can commit to that. So every Tuesday, I'm going to email my list, and I'm going to be very consistent with that. And some days it may feel messy. Some days it may feel like this is not my best work. I'm going to send it out and be consistent because I know that over time, I will make progress. Over time, I will build my email list. Over time, I will make myself more comfortable with selling my services to my email list, whatever that is, okay? I don't want you to sit around and wait and say, Denise, my email list is so small. I don't think I can commit to that because it's so small. I feel like I need to really have a bigger list before I can make that commitment and be consistent. I want you to build that consistency muscle now. And it's the same with posting on social media. Pick those days and show up consistently. And over time, you are going to see progress. Do the consistent work now, and you will experience progress. All right, reason number 2, that consistency is better than perfection. Information. You are getting information when you show up consistently. And here's what I mean. The best way that you can learn what resonates with your audience, what kind of content they're going to engage with, what products and services are going to be a hit, what subject lines are they going to open of their emails, or maybe what camp concepts are going to work well for your horse camps. All of those things require taking action. Even if it's imperfect action, you need to take action to get the information. Now, you know I'm a reader, so I have another book for you to consider here, and that is called Ship It by Seth Godin. And I'll be honest with you, I know the concepts. I have not completely read the book yet. It's on my list. But I'm sure that you can surmise from the title, Just Ship It, that he's saying you need to get your stuff out there, right? Quit holding on to the I'm not ready's and just do it. Now, again, those of us who are saying, but Denise, it's not ready. It needs to be exactly right. I'm not going to put something out into the world I'm not proud of. It has my name. It has my logo on it. And I get that. And I love this line. It says, just ship it is not the same as merely ship it. Okay, that's two different things. So he's saying, yes, do your work and do a great job. But I want you to get it out there before you feel it's ready, because the reality is you're never going to feel ready. And so just get it out there. And as you do, then you're going to gain so much information and feedback, and you can continue to improve what it is that you've put out there. So when you think about social media, get those reels out there and then look at your stats. What are people engaging with? What kind of views are you getting? Are there certain types over time that seem to perform better? Is there certain content that people seem to be enjoying the most from you? Pay attention to those things, learn from it, and then continuously improve. So I'm not just saying, be consistent for the sake of being consistent. Just show up to show up. I'm saying do that and use that information to help you. Another book that I've mentioned before is Mind Your Mindset by Michael Hyatt and Megan Hyatt Miller. And in there they say, the more things you try, the faster you will find out what doesn't work. When you use that information to self-correct, you will eventually arrive at the right answer. But get back to that. That's the more that you try. You have to actually try and do it. You have to take that imperfect action. You will never go live on Facebook, start building your email list, post more than once a month on social media, and get information from it if you don't actually do it, okay? You'll never have the information you need to get to the other side if you never do it. What's the other side? The side where you're feeling more confident because you know that what you've created is resonating. The side where you have built an audience of followers because you've showed up consistently and you know that your followers are the right people. They're your best fit audience because you've paid attention to your messaging and then you've consistently shown up with great, valuable, helpful information and you've been selling along the way as well. Okay, so those two reasons are so huge, friends, progress and information. And so I want you to consider those as you think about what is keeping you stuck in your business. What's keeping you from showing up consistently? Okay, so I've given you these two very solid reasons. I want you to consider that being consistent is actually better than trying to be perfect. And now with that in mind, friends, I would love to invite you to join me for a live workshop where I'm going to help you be consistent in showing up on your social media. I'm going to help you to take that all-important action on my live workshop where you will plan your entire summer of social media so that you can show up consistently, even if it is your busiest season. Now, you may be thinking, Denise, why are you focusing on social media for this workshop? And I will tell you it's because I know that this is a need that many of you already have. You're there. You're on social. You've created the accounts. You've created content. You just haven't been doing it consistently. And going into summer, you're thinking, I don't know how I'm going to do the shows and the expos and the clinics and still show up online. It kind of seems impossible, but I'm here to tell you it's not. Because when you have a plan to follow and when you have this time that's set aside where we will literally do this work together, and I'm not just guiding you and saying, here's a framework, now go and do it. On this workshop, we are in it together. We are going to pull up our schedulers and schedule content and hold each other accountable. And I want that for you because I want you to look back at the end of the summer and I want you to be able to celebrate that you've not only posted consistently online, but you've made sales. You've booked new clients and customers. You've built your email list. You have more followers on social media who are your right fit people because you've looked at social media this summer as a valuable tool for marketing your horse business. You've chosen that you're not going to stay stuck. You're not going to compare. You're not going to feel that imposter syndrome. You're going to show up consistently and authentically, and you're going to enjoy the fruit of that labor. I want to help you do that because I truly believe that if you can show up this summer consistently in what is often your busiest season, then you're building the muscle to show yourself and prepare yourself that you can do this year round. So friends, if you have not yet signed up to join me, I hope that you sure will. Go to stormlily.com/summer and get signed up today. I'm putting this podcast out there on a time that I don't normally do it during the week because I so much want to see you there. It's going to be live June 13th, 2024. So go to stormlily.com/summer and get signed up. Now, if you happen to be listening to this after June 13th, 2024, I would invite you to actually still go to stormlily.com/summer because I'm going to make the replay available for people who want to still get in and do the work. And I may do this again. If this works out, then it may be a new season or a new quarter that you are listening to this episode. And maybe it's something you can join me for the next one. All right. So head to that link, stormlily.com/summer, to find out everything you need to know. All right. So friends, let's leave this episode excited to show up consistently in our businesses, not just in social media, but in how we market our business, and really addressing that idea of thinking that perfect is what it has to be, but instead saying, nope, I just need to show up consistently over time. And I know I will get progress. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here, friends. If this episode was helpful to you, would you share it with a friend? Of course, invite a friend to join you in the live workshop as well. And then share this episode. Let other people know that it is helpful and encouraging and practical here on this podcast so that they can come and join us too. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. I am cheering for you and I hope to see you in the live workshop. Have an amazing day.